I see a lot of young people in our generation throw this thing around every other time about don't let anybody use you, don't let anybody use you, don't let it. My friend, you have got to be useful for you to be used in the first place.
Come on, that's
If you are useful, you have something to offer. That's why you feel like you're being used.
Yeah.
Nobody is going to say do something. Nobody is going to hand any responsibility over to you if you don't have anything to offer. Do you understand? So you've got to calm down and learn before you say you want to go and do your own thing.
If you're too big to serve, you're too small to lead. Regardless of whatsoever dream that you have, you need to first serve. A lot of experience that we've garnered all through the process of serving at our previous place of work are part of what has helped us. Starting up a real estate company, and within the space of 2 years, we've developed about 3 estates, have over 400 clients. It is not just what you can just fly out and say, oh, I want to become a CEO and I'm just doing. You have to first off serve.
Success isn't always loud. Sometimes it looks like late nights, silent prayers, rejected proposals, and moments where quitting feels easier than continuing. Because the truth is, every win has a backstory. Welcome to the Work Behind the Win podcast. I am your host, Deborah Adejira, and every month we go beyond the highlight reels and uncover the real stories, the setbacks, the pivots, and the resilience behind success. No filter, no fluff, just the real journey. So let's dive in. We've been told that real estate is a game for the wealthy, but today's guests are proving otherwise. They are helping everyday people own land with the right system. Please welcome the brilliant minds behind Riparo, Nigeria. And could you please jam your hands together for Benga and Samuel, the brilliant minds between Riparo, Nigeria. Welcome, welcome, guys.
Thank you, Deborah, for that warm welcome.
Thank you. We are more than happy to have you on set today. Thank you so much for honoring our invitation. And it's just so beautiful. There's a lot that we've heard about you both and about the brilliant work you're doing with Riparo. And we are here, to delve into how it all started, what the wins has been, what the struggle has been. And I just really want to encourage you, particularly for our viewers, don't hold back. Give us everything. We are ready. We're ready to take it. And I'm sure our viewers are also telling you that they are ready to learn from your wealth of experience. So welcome once again.
Thank you.
All right. Before we get into the interview, we want to play a very quick game. And, this game is to show how much you know each other.
All right.
So, Samuel, do you know Benga very well?
Of course.
On a scale of 100, how well?
99.
99. That's a good one. All right. So I'm going to ask a question. So anybody can decide 2 points, but I would take a start with Samuel. So who is most likely to claim that they are eating healthy while secretly finishing a whole box of donuts or large pizza? Okay, love it. All right. Do you agree with that?
Well, I wouldn't disagree with him on set.
It is what it is.
Yeah.
All right, so who is the one, this is very important, I need to know. Who is the one who would most likely send a 4-minute voice note instead of just typing a single yes or no?
Do we both do voice notes? Text or call most of the time?
Text or call?
Yeah.
Okay. After a big event, who is ready to go to an after party and who is already in the car trying to go home or sleep?
Of course.
He wants to go home and sleep.
Yeah.
So you're the social butterfly.
Sometimes on some days, yes, I am.
Okay. Another one. Are you guys ready for me?
Where were you?
So who is more likely to forget a close friend's birthday or an anniversary unless their phone gives them 10 reminders? Hey! Do you agree with that? Okay.
Well, I try to set reminder for birthdays.
Oh, okay.
Not to forget.
Okay, beautiful. Let's take, I think, a final one. So I know that you both are most likely tech inclined, but who do you think would most likely still struggle to find their way around a new app, or just say, how do I get over this? Ah, beautiful. Can we give them a round of applause? That was so good. All right, so we are going to be getting into the question, and these are really, really deep questions. And like I said, I want you both to give us no fluff. right? There's a lot that we've heard online, but one of the beautiful things about interviewing entrepreneurs, creatives, is that beyond whatever thing that we see on the highlights, we also want to see, just like the podcast mentioned, the work behind the win, what is going on behind the scene, do you see? But before we get into this question, I know that before Riparo, there was Benga. There was Benga and there was Samuel, right? And so that brings me to the question of, how did you guys started Riparo? I know that you both are founders. So what were you both doing before then? And who brought out, came about the whole idea of, let's build this thing, bro, let's get real estate into the hand of young entrepreneurs across Africa. I know a lot of people are saying, no, it's the rich man thing, it's the elite game, but let's get this thing into the hand of the people. So, you've gotten the question now. So it's a two-way question. Before Riparo, there was Benga, there was Samuel. What were you both doing? And who was the initiator? Who brought up the idea? So,
Okay, unlike many businesses that have co-founders, where you have the initiator, like you said, and then the validator, our story is a little bit quite different from that, because we have known each other for close to 10 years now. Since the days of since our university days, and
Wow.
we've been friends. In fact, we're first of all friends. Our friendship is the foundation on which the business relationship we now have is resting on. And as far back as when we were in uni, we have always had shared values, the same interests, and well, Riparo is not the first thing we're actually doing together, even as an enterprise. I
Wow.
mean, there have been a lot of, this thing is working. Somebody said, this thing, we could put money into this and all of that. So there's always been that. And amongst our friends, I mean, we're not the only friend, right? We have other friends, but even in that circle of friends, we seem to be those two people who, in many ways, were compatible. And it was easy for us to say, you know what, let's do this together. And, there are really some friends that you cannot, that these ones, let's just party, let's
Yeah.
just gossip, let's just gist, let's just, play football and all of that. When it comes to money, this person is,
It can be dicey,
hanky panky and all of that. When it comes to business or something, this person cannot be, do you understand? But for both of us, I mean, we've had to deal with money, even small amount of money to bigger amount, and then that trust is mutual. So it was easy for us to say, you know what, let's take this thing
and not
bigger.
try.
I remember as far back as when we were in uni, towards our finals, we've always had interest in real estate. But of course, who first had interest in real estate? I would say I was the first person to, have interest in real estate. And in our usual manner, as friends, I would say, oh, this thing, let's give it a try. And then we moved that way. And we did not exactly work with the same company per se. I mean, at some point we were working with different companies as employees, but it was still in the real estate space. And to cut the long story short, fast forward to, I think it was January 2023 or thereabout.
2024, yeah.
Yeah, 2024. Yeah, it was 23. That we were just, usually as friends at the beginning of the year, we would, talk about our goals for the year, the things we want to achieve. Yeah, friendship goals. And then we just decided that, you know what, we have been in this space for over a year, 2 years, working as employee in this space. I think we have gotten enough knowledge to really go and do our own thing. And it was just a situation of both of us wanting more out of life beyond just on the surface level thing. And that was how Riparo started. So it was not a situation of one person initiating and the other person, validating in that way.
I think that is so beautiful, right? And I'm glad that you shared your thoughts. But before I spotlight some of the things that I've heard you say, just like in this our Gen Z balance, my view, your view. So you have mentioned your own view of how it started, but I would also want to hear his own view as to how it started. Yeah.
Well, he mentioned the major part of it, right?
Yeah.
As he has rightly said, we've been friends for close to about 10 years, and it all started from Samuel from Ibadan, Benga from Washington State. We met on campus, University of Ilorin, on the political ground. We start strategizing how to win together. I mean, we win together, we lost some, and it started all from there, right? And for me, it's a combination of two persons who have shared dreams, shared interests, and that was basically what formed the pillar of we building a brand together. And before real estate, so maybe some time back, I ran a laundry firm on campus, and you know, a laundry firm that generate about 300 to 400 revenue per month.
So
300,000 naira, right? It was a lot of money then.
Yeah,
and,
of course.
Before I got introduced to real estate by my ex-boss, Lukman Shubowale and Bayo Lawal, they are co-founders of a real estate company in Lagos. And it started all like that, and moving forward to learning and, you know, acquiring major skills that is required to, you know, build a brand. And just like you mentioned, the beginning of the year 2024, we strategize on what is the next step for us after years of learning, serving. I mean, it is time for us to, you know, move on to the next stage. And, you know, it's just the thing for us. And we came together and we strategized like we used to. And that was how Riparo was given birth to.
Wow. That's so beautiful. And I'm forced to say friendship goals, and it's so beautiful to see, you know. Like it. You know, it's so beautiful to see. And I hear you guys correctly, right? Benga was saying something around the fact that it was a mutual thing, right? And there are other friends in your circle that you clearly knew that you cannot do this with them. And I think that speaks to self-awareness and a heightened level of knowledge, knowing fully well that you say, hi, bro, how far? You know, you guys, you can go 2 months saying, chairman, and you even know nothing about this chairman.
Yeah, right.
But some people don't know that. There are a lot of people, we've had stories of people who just feel like they are friends. You know, there are people that all you can do with them is just to, you know, talk about spiritual things. For folks who are whether Christian or Muslim, just talk about spiritual things. You might not vibe on, you know, heightened levels. So you're talking about business, you're talking about strategy. In fact, they'll become firefighters, meaning that they'll be like, but boy, it's here for you. Do you understand? But there are people you're talking about that, you know, I'm thinking about raising maybe $2 or $3 billion, and they're like, that's it, let's go for it. And I don't say, why you want to take raise up? Where the money day? So I mean, it's just so beautiful to see, and knowing fully well that, I mean, you both could have individually said, let me go and start out my company. But you were wise enough to know that, you know, synergy goes a long way. Let me bring my own beats, let him also bring his own beats, and then we can, you know, forge an alliance. And that will take me to the next question to say, and I think I would piggyback to, you know, Samuel to take it from there.
All right.
What are your complementary strengths? You know, whether you like it or not, whether is something that, you know, you guys did this thing in passing. It wasn't something that you'd be like, oh, guy, Jeka Shikini. It was just a result of fellowship. You guys have always talked about goals so much that it's just normal for you guys to do things together, right?
Yeah.
But I'm sure somewhere you know that this, my guy, has the strengths that I don't have. And the same thing goes to him. So what do you think are your complementary strengths?
Well, to start with, you see, Benga is that guy that, you know, dreams I go all out to get whatsoever that is eyeing, right? You know, Benga is that kind of person that will tell you, I want to buy a Rolls Royce, and yes, he's working
go for it
all his way through to get the Rolls Royce.
So good.
And on the other hand, I am the type of the guy
don't
that...
steal me away from you after this podcast. Okay.
Let him give you your flowers.
I'm the type that just, you know, I don't really like to talk much. I mean, doing this is just what we have to do, you know.
Right.
I'm just the guy that likes to be behind the scene, making sure that the execution, the process, everything aligns, right? So that is my own area of strength. And, you know, come to sales. Sales guru. I mean, I'm learning from him when it comes to sales as well. So I'm going to say, you know, those are the major strength. And you could see that, I mean, for every partnership, it needs to complement each other.
Absolutely.
I mean, the other person is good at this, the other person is good at this. You understand? And that's just the major complementary strengths for the both of us.
So good. And I think that's so powerful that I'm really impressed by the self-awareness that you guys exude, because there are people who live in, should I call it delusion? They're unable to know what their weakness is. They just feel like they can do it, you know. But it takes a level of strength and a level of wisdom for you to know that I am not this is not my forte, this is not my strength, but my friend does this effortlessly, and then you acknowledge it and then, you know, go a notch higher. So let's have it from you. What do you have to say?
I think Samuel sort of answered the question for both of us already, but I'm just going to, like I said the other time, my view, right, from complementary skills and strengths. Like you said, I'm more of the visionary, ambitious guy, while Samuel is that ruthless executor. For someone like me, most of the time, I get really restless and bored about things very easily. But Samuel ensures that we stay true to the plan and strategy, and things, you know, continue to move. I can come today and say that, you know what, this is the next big thing we're doing, draw out plans and all of that. It's not like I'm going to shy away from that, but Samuel ensures that, okay, we are still in the period of executing this thing. We're not yet done. I'm coming again to say that, you know what, this is the next big thing. And it's okay, all of these are good, you know, this is the next big thing, but let's
calm down.
You know, see this through to the end first before we move on to the next big thing. That's number one. Number two is, you might be shocked to hear this, but I mean, judging from the few moments we've spent together here, you like to think that I'm the people person. But really, it's very easy for me to connect with people and all of that, but it all ends there.
Nothing more.
Nothing more. Nothing really. Someone ensures that people management, keeping relationships and all of that, I mean, things go smoothly. And even sometimes at work, in our office, there are times that I'm too moved by logic and objectivity to overlook people's emotions when making decisions. Sometimes. And someone is always there to say that, okay, while this might be very logical and objective, we are all emotional person. Maybe this person is
making you stay in another vantage point.
Maybe this person is, so instead of you saying, let this person go now, why not just me? I don't have time for what's it called? Are you getting results? If you're not getting results, move. The next person. Do you understand? There's someone on the other hand who says, well, let's give people time. At least some persons also give us time to learn on this job, to, you know, so why not extend the same handshake to other person? So those are complementary skills.
And I think that is perfect. Like, I wish I could not, you know, because people will think, oh, maybe I'm trying to gas you guys up, but it is just perfect.
And you're prepared to do so.
Because that is what every successful business needs, right? There is the other one that can, you know, checkmate the other person and say, calm down. You know, let's see it this way. You know, maybe you have gone to rake people in, but he makes sure he stabilizes the people, because you are going to say,
if you were to use a car to describe both of us, I'm like the steering and the accelerator. He's the gear and the brake. Do you understand? And when you're over speeding and you're wait now, calm down,
Well, I'm going to just cite an example from the Bible that says, if you're too big to serve, you're too small to lead. Regardless.
Glory! By the way, his dad is a pastor, so he's going to become the next pastor.
Don't need to mention that. Come on. So, regardless of whatsoever dream that you have, I mean, you need to first serve. You need to understand, you know, as much as, you know, this old Gen Z generation that we have, everybody just want to pick up and just start one day and just become the global CEO. It doesn't work like that. It takes process. It takes you serving. I mean, a lot of experience that we've garnered all through the process of serving at our previous place of work are part of what has helped us. I mean, starting up a real estate company, and within the space of 2 years, we've developed about 3 estates, have over 400 clients. It is not just what you can just fly out and say, oh, I want to become a CEO and I'm just doing. You have to first off, serve, learn. And that's when you can say, oh, you want to set out to now begin your thing. And again, if you're too big to serve, you're too small to lead.
So I'm going to take a little diversion from what Samuel said about being a CEO, being an entrepreneur, because I know that's what's trending now. That's what's fancy. Everybody wants to want to be my boss and all of that. But the truth nobody wants to admit, or the truth that you're not being told, is that being an entrepreneur or being the CEO does not necessarily make you the boss of yourself. Because you're in reality, you're not the boss. Your clients, your customers, your employees, they are the boss. That sounds very countercultural, not everyday thing, right? I'm going to get onto it in a minute. Now, I've always known that the weight of leadership is always heavy, but it's different when you experience it from when you're observing. And so sometimes the way you see things when you're observing is different from how it feels when you're actually in the shoes. I'm going to give you some examples. When I was working at my previous place of work before starting Riparo, there's sometimes that my boss will do some things and I'm going to feel like, Asana now, why would you do that? In fact, I heard this thing from Pastor Olushola one time, quarterback arms chairs syndrome, where we all believe that if we were to be in the same situation, we would do better. And so I always feel like if I were to be in that same position, sitting on that fancy chair, I'll make a better decision. Only for me to start my own company too and realize that, oh, so this is why this person had to.
It's not going on the other side.
At every point in time, you're faced with, making decisions that you know that it would have significant impact on people's lives. So you're caught in between an emotional and a logical decision. What is good for the business? Let's just make money. And what about the people that are working with us? Do you understand? There's that part. There's the part of clients, in fact, unrealistic expectation from your clients and customers. So how do you balance that? So in other words, you're necessarily working for your clients and your customers because you don't have a business when nobody is ready to buy or when nobody is willing to buy. So who actually holds the power? Who wields the power in that instance? You, the business owner, or the person that wants to buy. So you cannot run a business. You cannot make a product just because you like that product, just because the product suits you. You are making the product because of persons that are interested. Do you understand? And that's the unspoken truth that is not proliferated, in this part of the world about entrepreneurship and being CEO. Everybody just feel like, oh, once you become the CEO, you're going to be the boss of yourself. You're going to be free and all of that. In fact, being an entrepreneur is a long walk to freedom, not early freedom. Because in the early days, some of the things that you probably are complaining in your 9 to 5, or you're probably complaining when you're working under someone that this person is demanding too much and all of that. Let me just do my job and get away. When you become an entrepreneur, because of limited resources when you're just starting out, which is the case, in Africa where you're starting any company, you would have to do the job of like 3, 4, 5 persons when you're just starting.
Together.
Myself and Samuel, when we started, he was the social media manager. At some point, I was the customer relations manager. At some point, I was the accountant. So it's a lot of things. So the things that you were probably complaining about when you were working somewhere else, you have to do these things yourself because you can't push that responsibility or that blame on any other person. Now, it is now your turn. You have to do it. Do you understand? And there's this thing where I see a lot of young people in our generation throw this thing around every other time about don't let anybody use you. Don't let anybody use you. Don't let it. My friend, you have got to be useful for you to be used in the first place. If you are useful, you have something to offer. That's why you feel like you're being used. Nobody is going to say do something. Nobody is going to hand any responsibility over to you if you don't have anything to offer. Do you understand? So you've got to calm down and learn before you say you want to go and do your own thing. One time, I heard something very powerful from Dr. Sam Adeyemi when he said, It's a dangerous time bomb when you have people who have not served or learn how to receive instruction move into leadership roles. I didn't understand that thing until we started Riparo, and then I have to make some decisions, and I would have to put myself in the shoes of the other person. If I were to be treated like this when I was working at my previous work, would I be happy? Do you understand me? How will this, affect me psychologically? And that would help inform how I'm going to act in that position.
I think I love the standpoints that you got into, and you're going to agree with me that I think this has gotten to your nerves, right?
I get passionate sometimes
It's okay. And immediately you were speaking, I remembered this particular scripture that says that you're not being led by whatever that's not touched by your infirmity. Meaning that your leader too, whoever is asking you to come and be my child, has also been taught that same insanity.
Mm-hmm.
So he can understand what you're feeling. But somebody who cannot understand, that's why you're saying that you want to make certain decision and you're asking that. If I was treated the same way, because you had been on the both side of the coin, and the employer and the employee. But look at somebody who had not been there, would just feel like they should be able to, it's nothing, it's nothing. And I think that's beautiful. Now, we want to pick up. They said something about the MDs. How many years is Riparo now?
We're going to be 2 in August.
Wow, that's so beautiful. And now, I want you to speak to what the first 6 months looks like. You said something about the fact that you had to juggle so many balls, just to get the ball rolling. But what did it look like?
So we operate in a very highly volatile and saturated market, where sometimes, because of the uncertainty in the market, some of the expectations or even the promise you've made to your client and investor can almost become unrealistic. I mean, you can set a project duration of, say, 6-8 months to execute and deliver a project.
Sure.
With a budget of, say, 200 million, and before you know it, 3 months down the line, your budget of 200 million is already, there's a surge in price of some of the things, materials in the market and all of that, and you're already looking at about 250 million naira for the same project you were supposed to run for, 200 million naira. And then, so at that point, you're caught in between meeting investors and client expectation and your own profits as a business owner.
Sure.
And that's where, your personal values and your corporate values as individuals and as a business come to place. You would need to, have clear communication with all parties involved, regular progress reports of what is happening. At the same time, you also need to be as transparent as possible and sincerity of purpose. You need to clearly define what is more important to you per time. Is it profitability in the short run and losing people's trust, or gaining people's trust and then profitability in the long run? And that's why you see that sometimes there's been these statistics over time that a lot of startups within their first 5 years, they collapsed. It's because of some of these, uncertainties and discrepancies. Yeah, thank you. And inability sometimes to really pinpoint what your priority is per time. A lot of persons come into entrepreneurship, business because of the fancy lifestyle. And so, in fact, there are a lot of things that personally you would need to. Entrepreneurship is a delayed gratification game.
Sure.
It's not a get rich quick scheme like people make it appear on social media. So, sometimes when I'm in some rooms or I'm in some places and I hear young persons like myself, talk about, I want to start my own business. I want to take a step back sometimes and ask myself, why do you want to go and start that business? Is it because of the fancy cars, the lifestyle? And we live in a very content-driven world. Like almost every now and then, somebody's going for a meeting, there's somebody,
taking
a day with the CEO, doing this, and everybody wants to do a day with the CEO, a day in the life of the CEO. Guess what? Sometimes you get so engrossed in the job that you don't have time for some of those things if you're really doing the job.
Yeah.
Do you understand? And that's where sometimes you would need to outsource some of these things, because you're battling. And back to the first question you asked the other time about, becoming a CEO or becoming the boss of yourself without serving somewhere, you realize that you're not even working 9 to 5 anymore. You're working around the clock. The moment you open your eyes as the founder of a business, sometimes your brain even goes to overdrive.
Yeah.
You're sleeping, but you're not sleeping.
You're still thinking about what's together.
Just when you thought you're done for the day, you remember, oh, there's a message you left unread. Oh, there's a client that raised a complaint and you're yet to give a
response.
In fact, sometimes you go back home and you're reflecting, what did I say to this person? What was my response to this person? So you're working round the clock. It's not a 9 to 5 thing anymore. Or you say, oh, I decide when I want to work. Do you know that sometimes even when you say you go on vacation, you want to stay away from your work and all of that, you are still subtly and indirectly working.
True.
Because you're thinking, okay, let me take a moment to reflect on my business. Let me take a moment to do you understand? Even that moment of reflection is still part of the work.
True.
So it's not as fancy as people think all these things are. So in other words, or let me say bottom line, what is really important is, I mean, there's always going to be challenges and crises that sometimes will be beyond your control. I mean, we're in Nigeria, all of us, we understand that. But 3 things that you must really keep, in your left palm as an entrepreneur: clear communication, transparency, and sincerity of purpose. Every time will help.
I think that is so good. And I'm so glad that you guys are not trying to sugarcoat things. And again, we've said it over time, we're in that time where everybody just wants to be the CEO, forgetting the Herculean tax that comes with being a CEO. You have to do a whole lot of things, which is so, so beautiful. And I'm glad that you helped us see into the behind the scene. Don't just think, oh, it's just all sweet. And social media isn't helping us, but thankfully to you guys, you are de-influencing us from some of those things.
Good. I think there's something I mixed out, which I would like to quickly point out now.
Okay.
More like provide a little bit of context to some of the things I said about, stakeholder management, clear communication, and being very transparent. Yeah. So it's not like it has been all smooth for us, that every deal has went successfully, or that every transaction that we have done has really gone smooth. I mean, there are some transactions that really went south. For instance, there was a project we did with someone. It was about 15 million naira. And somehow we got scammed, right?
Scammed as in payments?
So let me explain the scam. Generally, when you want to buy a property, you need to verify with a particular government agency. And so you know that somebody sits behind the screen to issue paper of approval, which means that whoever sits behind the screen wields the power to validate whatever paper you want to get.
Yeah.
So which means I can decide to fake paper. Something that I know that this land is under government acquisition, I can decide to issue paper and say that it's free.
Yeah.
Did you get it just for somebody to be able to make a sale?
Wow.
That was exactly what happened. We've done our due diligence, what we're supposed to do, only for us to find out that truly this family has land, but they have sold all the land that actually belongs to them, that have been excised to them by the government. So they are now encroaching into government property.
Wow.
Overpaid. And also did their diligence, only to find out that there were some persons, and that's part of the bottlenecks, in this business.
Yeah.
Where if you know somebody somewhere in one office, you
can
always pull strings together for you and do it. And that was what happened. Now, when that happened, ideally, what we just did in that transaction, or our role was more of an agency in the transaction, not like it was a company project. And so we were only entitled to a service fee.
Yeah.
Or what people would call finder's fee. Eventually, when that project, service fee would be 10% of 15 million, and that's 1.5 million, right? Yeah. When the project went south, this person will hold our neck for the entire thing. This person will say that we'll have to refund the entire money.
What you just got 1.5 from?
How can I refund you 15 million naira from a transaction where all I got was 1.5 million naira? Well, you see, people that's a situation that it is not properly managed. It can snowball into something bigger, where somebody goes to the media, goes to social media and start calling our company and start saying,
and just sabotaging you.
And sabotage. People will not know what went on behind the people. What people just this guy bought land from these people, and they will not even know that he was this and all of that. So what we had to do at that time was to explain in details the process of getting approval for any land in the first place. And having explained, from A to B to C to D, this person also said that, okay, if you guys did all of these things and this thing still came out like this, it means that someone inside, this agency must have orchestrated all of this. So we now came to a place of mutual understanding that, okay, you know what? How then do we face our common enemy? So we're able to push the burden from seeing us as the bad guys in the transaction to, you know what, we are on the same side here.
With you.
How do we face our common enemy and see? And ever since then, the situation, you know, was properly managed and the whole issue was resolved. Eventually, we had to involve, you know, EFCC and, you know, arrest of persons. And then eventually we were able to get a refund and the person was also. And so what I learned from that situation is sometimes there will be tough situations which you need to arise to the occasion as well. You cannot afford to shy away from it. It is
There will always be conflict.
Do you understand? There will always be conflict. There will always be friction, you know, of interest.
But
Sometimes there will even be, you know, miscommunication, where someone will feel like you are at fault, and then eventually they see that, oh, I mean, it's not totally bad. It's not from this person. But until you, first of all, take responsibility for whatever the situation is and communicate clearly, ensure transparency to the point that we had to show the record of receipt of payment, transactions, how much was paid to this particular government agency to do the, you know, due diligence, the documentation, how much was paid to the family and all of that. Things that ordinarily we don't necessarily have to, we're not, obligated
obliged,
to, you know, show this person. But when the situation arrived, we had to, you know what, go through that process to ensure that, okay, we are as transparent as possible. And that really helped the situation, you know, with us. That's one of the, you know, scenarios that I can remember now in terms of stakeholder management and conflicts.
I think it's so beautiful because what you've clearly said here is just that you just have to be on top of the game when it has to do with conflict management. You know, it's not something that you will just spiral and say, oh, did you do this to me? You know, you just have to have an understanding and then make everyone understand what went wrong, what went south. I mean, in short, it's just conflict management. Thank you so much, you know, for sharing your experiences with us. And I mean, there's just a whole lot to unpack from this. I personally, is a conversation that I would like to, you know, watch again because, you know, one of the people that I respect so much will say is that you can't get value in just, maybe now as I'm listening to you now and it's being recorded, I can't get all of the value. You have to go back again and then, you know, just sap out the juice and all of that. So before we, you know, round up this conversation, I just want you to give final words to people who wants to build companies, who want to do something that will be transgenerational. I mean, it's so clear that we're not trying to speak to the eat and run guys, those who want some get rich quick scheme or who are there for the fancy, people that want to build something that would last and then transcend beyond them. You know, I just want you to, you know, speak to that. And I would want Samuel to talk about that. What is that word that you would give to people out there about what they should pay attention to when they are trying to do a thing? The Bible says that who amongst you will want to build a house without first counting the cost? So more like you telling them that, you know, these are these things and this is what you should watch out for. So thank you so much.
In one word, for every young person trying to do whatsoever, doing anything that you lay your hands on, the one word I'll say is your tenacity. You see, whatsoever you find yourself doing, do it with your best. Do it, but you see, the thing is, it might not be the thing at the moment, but it will eventually be the thing that leads to the thing.
Oh, so
you made mention of how I started as a laundry guy on campus. I was able to connect with people. I built relationship from there. And now it is, I never thought about real estate, right? It was from laundry that I then, laundry led to the thing that later mattered now. So for everything you find yourself doing, do it very well.
That is so powerful.
I mean, if this were to be some Forbes interview or something,
right,
the headline would have been from laundry guy to building a real estate empire.
It's so good. And what you said, and I want to echo it again, is that tenacity. You know, as we were talking about tenacity, I remember the story of the bamboo tree, you know, how that it takes a lot of year before it eventually shoots out. And any seed that is actually going to become what it is, not just some, you know, crops that maybe they are just monthly crops, maybe just 2 months, they've grown, they've harvested and this, but anything that is going to be like a very, very solid cash crop, it takes a lot of time before you even see anything. If you plant orange, in 3 months, nothing is even shooting forth. So you have to have that tenacity. Well, and as you're also having that tenacity, know that sometimes what you're doing now will be that thing that will eventually lead to the thing. You know, there are a lot of crosses on the road, you know,
of course,
twist and turn that will eventually now lead to that thing. Thank you so much for sharing that brilliant thought with us. And finally with Benga, what is that word you'd like to say to anyone that is listening? Your 50 cents.
Okay, let me just offer my 2 kobo.
I got that.
Okay? And my own 2 cents will not be just a word, right? It will just be about 2 principles that I've learned and in the course of running Riparo Nigeria Limited that I've learned personally, and I hope it also helps someone out there watching this. So the first thing is that to start any business,
Right.
stop looking for the next fancy idea or the next big thing before you start. Just look around you, immediate problems that people face, and try to solve them.
Sure.
Produce what people need. In our own generation now, I see a lot of young persons. Sometimes the goal is you want to be the next Mark Zuckerberg. You want to be the next Elon Musk. You want to be the next
something far-reaching.
Something very far. You don't have to. In fact, starting a business, right? People tell you that you are funny, that you're the life of the party, that you're fun to be around, or you make people happy. That's a business idea there that you can actually commercialize. What are all these kids, guys? People that are doing skits, that are streaming, that are dancing all over the place. What are they doing? How are they making their money? Do you understand? And do you know the value of that market now?
Right.
Do you understand? I mean, it's a big thing.
Sure.
People tell you that, oh, you have good fashion sense. In fact, amongst your friends, you are the best makeup artist and all of that, and you just downplay the importance of that's an idea you can actually commercialize. Instead of just doing makeup for free, pro bono for your friends, or just styling your friends, why not turn into a business? I have a friend back in uni who it was just play. We're going to have a cultural night, and she was saddled with the responsibility of picking color and clothes for the cultural night. And it started from there, and before you know it, that's the ball into, okay, you know what? I'm going to help you guys buy clothes, materials from Lagos and give to you. So at first, she started by selling materials. And from there, she transitioned into full-blown fashion designing. She now has a big fashion design house in Lagos. I'm happy to see her growth. That was someone that started from just, the little things around that people are, you know how to cook, you know how to, and
Go
so
for it.
Sometimes the fact that you have a natural talent or gift for something does not necessarily mean that you have to be the one to run the business. You can commercialize the idea and find a business-oriented partner that runs the business for you.
So good.
Because whatever passion that you have that is not making money for you is at best a hobby.
Right.
Do you get me?
Right.
And the second thing, which is the last thing I'm going to say before I submit, is that cash flow is the lifeline
of heaven. So good.
Leave all the fancy ideas, leave all the fancy ideas, the big proposals, the PowerPoint presentations, and all that, and forget that. Look, no matter how fancy your idea is, if nobody is buying, if money is not coming, that is a business that is about to die.
Yeah.
And go and trace in the history of businesses that have crashed over the years or that are no more in existence, that have gone into extinction, if not primarily. Fundamentally, one of the things that went wrong was cash flow.
Cash flow. Cash is king.
Cash is king.
Yeah.
Whatever you're doing, cash must be coming in.
Yeah. Money must flow.
Money must flow.
That is so good. And I think that is a wrap for today. And I must say thank you so much, Benga. Thank you so much, Samuel, for honoring our invitation. And you didn't just honor our invitation alone. You shared your brilliance with us. You shared your brilliance with our audience, and that we do not take for granted. Thank you once again, and we do not take it for granted. And again, thank you so much for not only conceiving the idea of Riparo, but also birthing it and seeing it through and helping young Africans across, the nations, because I know that is what it would be. Thank you so much, and we do not.
You're the next proud landlord with that's for certain.
Let's get it done. All right. Thank you so very much.
All right.
Let's give them a round of applause.
Thank you guys. Thank you guys. Thank you guys. Thank you guys.